Okay. Hi everyone. Good morning to all of you. So let me explain you the continuation of the chapter that is unit reproduction. First chapter of your second year. Biosyllabus, that is reproduction in organism. In the last class already I have begun with the topic that is reproduction. I have completed the asexual reproduction. I have also started asexual reproduction. Now today let us start with the vegetative. Different types of asexual reproduction in our last class we have studied. And today let me explain you about what are the different other asexual reproductions. That is, you can see here. That is vegetative propagation. Okay, in plants a term vegetative reproduction is used. In plants, you are able to see here, that is in the different types of plants, you are able to see potato, ginger, leaf, there is biophyllum, agave, and the water hyacinth. The reproduction is taking place in a different part. See, in this plants, there is an asexual reproduction. How they are reproducing? They are reproducing through using their body parts. Some of the body parts only capable of giving rise to the new plants. Isn't it? For example, you can see here, the potato will be having small white color bud-like structure. Okay, if you keep the potato for a long period of time, it will develop some structure, white color, that we call it as eyes of potato. So that eyes of potato has the capacity to develop into new potato. Okay, so the vegetative type of reproduction, the type of asexual reproduction taking place in the plants is vegetative propagation, vegetative reproduction. Okay, that is vegetative reproduction we are able to see here, isn't it? Asexual reproduction in plants termed as vegetative reproduction. Frequently it is used. Okay, the units of the vegetative propagation, that is, here I can say a 2 mark, 3 mark, 1 mark question will arise on this topic in your PU board. That is, definitions will be asked or directly given. That is, you will be given the potato and you are supposed to write the vegetative propagation of that. So each carrying 1 mark, isn't it? So that will be asked in your PU board, not only in the PU board, dear students, in the NEET and CET also, regarding what we call it as the questions will be arising. Okay, so in the vegetative propagation, the part of the plant which is involved in the asexual reproduction, that we call it as vegetative propagation units. Units. For example, in the potato, eyes of potato is a unit. Unit in the sense through which the vegetative propagation is taking place. What exactly the vegetative propagation, my dear students? If you see here, that is a kind of reproduction which is taking place asexually, that is any part of the plant body which is capable of reproducing without the fusion, that is asexual type of reproduction is taking place, that is its own plant's part is involved in reproducing, that part we call it as vegetative propagation or vegetative propagation unit. Okay, in different plants, different type of vegetative propagation units are there, and this type of reproduction in plants where they are reproducing by one of their body part, that is called as vegetative reproduction. In the potato, eyes of potato, isn't it? As you people know that it is a modified for storage of food, it is a modified stem forming the tubulized structure. In the first years you people have studied, and in case of the ginger, not only in the ginger, in banana also. In the banana, Last year or before last year, the question, one more question arised. Name the vegetative propagule of banana. It is a rhizome. Okay, rhizome. Do you know ginger? Ginger. If you see the ginger, it is also a modified stem. Because you are able to see these are the nodes of ginger, and these are the adventitious roots. You know that adventitious roots are nothing but the roots which are arising not from the what we call it as radical. It is from the different part of the plant body except from the radical. So here it is a modified stem, the ginger. So this is the modified root, sorry, adventitious roots you are able to see, dear students. Here the nodes are there. Okay, from the nodes there is arising of a structure called rhizome. With the help of this rhizome, the ginger is capable to grow. Okay, not only, so what is the vegetative propagule? Vegetative unit of the ginger is a rhizome. Not only the ginger, also in the banana, rhizome is a vegetative propagule. What about the agave? This is the agave plant. If you remove this is called as bulbil. If you place it in the soil, marshy in the soil, it is capable to give rise to new agave plant. That is, in the agave, what is the vegetative propagule? That is bulbil. Bulbil is a vegetative propagule of agave. Then, similarly, if you see this plant's leaf, you are able to see here, that is bryophyllum. A leaf margin, the margin of the leaf bears small bud-like structure which are having leaves, and below it is having small hair-like structure called as roots. Just now I said you to my dear students that the roots which are arising not from the radical, from the other different part of the plant body is said to be adventitious roots. So, this all the marginal line of the leaf is surrounded, covered with the adventitious buds, which is forming the vegetative propagule or vegetative unit of the plant. Vegetative propagule or vegetative unit of the plant. What is the vegetative unit or propagule of the in the bryophyllum? It is the leaf bud. What it is? It is leaf bud. So buds are present in small hair-like structure that is called as roots. That is leaf buds. When these leaves fall on the soil consisting of minerals and moisture in it, so these roots will get embedded in the soil. From that, new bryophyllum plant is going to arise. So, is it not a vegetative propagule? It is a part of the plant from which new plant is arising or reproducing or producing. Understood? So, next is, you can see there are different types. Runners, suckers are there, isn't it? Have you seen any water body covered with any of the plant? So one of the name I can call it as water body, water hyacinth. Okay, water hyacinth, you are capable to see this. This is what we call it as, I'm marking here with a red marker. This is nothing but, it is an offset. Offset, it is a vegetative part of the plant. If you cut this offset and place it in the water, if you cut this offset and place it in the water, it has the capacity to grow it into the new. Again, once again, it will start growing. So, what is the vegetative propagule or part of the water hyacinth? Offsets. Okay, in mint also you can see runners, suckers, runners, offsets. Mint also, then you can see also in the grasses. If you remove one, it won't come back. It is vegetative propagation. It will be running like this. Through the ground level, it will be going like this. Isn't it? The roots are spreading in such a way that those are forming the vegetative propagules. which are forming the vegetative propagules, isn't it? So bulbs in the onion you can find that is bulb will be there. You know that a new bulb formation is taking place in the what we call it as in the onion. Okay, some of the structures not only involve the parents, isn't it? In some of the organisms, the plant body itself get broken down. Okay, the plant body itself gets broken down and each part of the plant body is capable to grow into new plant. New plant. Can you tell me what is the type of reproduction it is? It is through fragmentation. Fragmentation. Okay, what it is? Fragmentation. It is said to be fragmentation. Okay, my dear students, a fragmentation, it is a capable example in the hydra. Hydra, any part of the plant, hydra, suppose this is an hydra. Okay, in the hydra, this part is broken down. This part will start growing into new hydra. Okay, what is the type of reproduction, my dear students? It is a fragmentation. Because broken part of the hydra will grow into new part, new organism. That is new hydra, isn't it? That is, it is growing into a new one. That I can call it as what? Fragmentation. What is the process of reproduction here? Asexual fragmentation. Right? So, if you see here, what are the other different types of asexual reproduction? Can you people tell me? Can you people imagine and just think of what are the possibilities of water hyacinth, how it is reproducing, and what are the different types of plants which are reproducing through the formation of the rhizome or fragmentation by developing the different things, isn't it? You might be think that terror of Bengal. My dear students, you people have heard that if you visit the Beaver Fort, near the Beaver Fort, area which is filled with the water, it is near to the fort. The fort is the completely bottom of that, beside to that is completely covered with the water, and that water part is totally covered with the plant. That the plant is said to be terror of Bengal. What it is said to be? Terror of Bengal. Okay, why it is said to be terror of Bengal? Do you know that a plant called water hyacinth, okay, bought from the different country to India by getting attracted. Some people got attracted to the flowers of water hyacinth or terror of the Bengal. They brought that water hyacinth to India. So it is such a fast spreading weed. Weed means unwanted plants. Weeds are nothing but unwanted plants. In the what we call it as generally अगर आप देखते हो तो terrestrial area land पे soil पे जहाँ पर fields में हम लोग या फिर हमारे घर के garden में when we are planting some of our interested plants in the garden, flowering plants, and also in the field some of the crops when we are growing, some whatever we want, we are planting that one. Either we are sowing the seeds or through we are doing the plantation. But there are some plants which are growing unnecessarily, unwantedly, that will grow very fast. Okay, and they does not allow the other crops or interested plants to grow. Such plants are called as weeds. Example, Parthenium, carrot grass. Congressman बोलते हैं generally यहाँ पे village people. Okay. Then in the water body, if you see, water hyacinth is acting as a fast spreading weed. It will spread through a offset. This is a water hyacinth not only covering the whole part of the plant body, it is taking the oxygen from the water. Whatever the oxygen present in the water is essential for aquatic organisms such as fishes and other organisms to breathe. Isn't it? They will breathe through the oxygen present in the water in the dissolved form. But what happens? These will take all the oxygen from the water. So whatever the fishes and other aquatic organisms, what they will get scarcity of oxygen, they will die. Isn't it? What happens? I explain one more time here. You can see, my dear students, water hyacinth is a type of aquatic weed, fast spreading weed. Its vegetative propagation is offset. This is called as offset. Okay, it will spread through this offset and it will spread within a short period of time, and when it is growing, it is deriving all the oxygen from the water, and which will form the scarcity of oxygen in the water body. As a result of which, this all organism will start dying. Okay, death of the aquatic organisms takes place. So that is why it has become one headache. It has said to be terror of Bengal, commonly called as terror of Bengal. Okay, so here vegetative propagation shows that is different types of how to spread. It's a phenomenal where you are able to see how it is spreading. In the sugar cane, banana, ginger, dahlia, these all things wherever. Sugar cane also, can you tell me what is that? In this sugar cane, if you take a sugar cane, how it looks like, this will be like this, isn't it? So these are said to be nodes. So nodes are the region from which it has the capacity to generate into the new plant body. So if this nodes come in contact with this node, come in contact with the soil, water and minerals present in the soil, they will start developing the root, and again they will develop into the plant. It means that the vegetative propagules are the nodes. From there, they are going to arise the new plants. Right? They are going to arise the new plants from this. Right? So if you see here, the different types of things, asexually reproducing, offsets, runner, and also there are so many conditions where the different types of organisms, plant organisms reproducing asexually. Okay, this is about how the asexual reproduction is taking place in the form of vegetative propagation. Okay, it is very much important. You should keep it in your mind. Name of the organism, name of the plant, and how it is reproducing through vegetative propagation. That you should keep it in your mind. That is very much important for 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark in the Q board theory exam, and in the NEET and CET related questions will be asked to people. Okay, so now let me explain you about the sexual reproduction. Let me explain you about the sexual reproduction. What do you mean by sexual reproduction? My dear students, I have already explained to people in my last class that what exactly the reproduction is. A reproduction is nothing but, that is, a process, a biological process in which an organism is giving birth to the young one, or an individual, or an offspring, which is similar to their parents, isn't it? So that is reproduction. Sexual reproduction means the reproduction, that is, the new individual is formed by the fusion of the male and female gametes. A process in which an new individual or reproduction. My dear students, you might be familiar with the reproduction means in which the parents are reproducing or producing a individual. If they are producing the new individual, that is the offspring, through single parent without the fusion of the without the fusion of the gametes, that is asexual reproduction we are calling it as. If the process in which a new individual or offspring is produced through fusion of male and female gamete, we call it as sexual reproduction. What we call it as, my dear students? Sexual reproduction. So let us have some description, explanation on this topic. Do you familiar with what we call it as the different types of organisms? The different types of organisms such as formation of the algae, plants, animals, fungi. These all are belongs to different categories, but all are showing the same type of process, same type of or process of reproduction. It is sexual type of reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves the formation of male and female gametes. In the sexual reproduction, first procedure we can see here, that is the formation of the gametes is taking place, and either, that is, whatever the gametes are formed in the sexual reproduction, first procedure, that is a formation of gametes is taking place. And these gametes either produced by males and females, or the same individual is producing both the gametes, produces both the gametes, isn't it? Okay. Okay, dear students, if you see, in the sexual reproduction, formation of gametes is involved because when the fusion of the male and female gamete is taking place, then only the sexual reproduction is taking. We can say that the organism is doing the sexual reproduction. So how is it possible? It is possible when there is a gamete. So formation of gametes is taking place. Either the organisms separately producing the gametes, that is, male individual is producing male gametes form, or female individual is producing female gametes form, or in some cases, same individual, only one individual. For example, in the what we call it as hormone. So same individual, that is, we can call it as bisexual. Both the sexes are present in the same organism. It is producing testes are also there, and ovaries are also present in the earthworm. So both sperm and ovum produced by only one individual. Example, in the earthworm. Okay, in the earthworm we can see. Then similarly, this is one example I have given you from the study further. And one more in the plant. In the plant, there is flower is a sexual reproducing part of the plant. So either, that is, some of the flower they are showing only stamen, that is a male reproductive part, or only pistil, that is a female reproductive part. In some, both they are producing stamen and pistil. So stamen and pistil. So these I can call it as unisexual, dioecious. This I can call it as bisexual, that is monoecious. Okay, so that is totally formation of gametes is taking place. Either the different individual is producing different types of gametes, or same individual is producing the two different types of gametes. That is formation of gametes is taking place. Now, if we talk about the different types of organisms which are okay, dear students, here, if you talk about that is some of the algae. Study of diverse organisms such as plants are there, plants, animals, fungi, algae, etc. belongs to different categories, belongs to different types of organisms, but all they are showing the similarity is sexual reproduction. Okay, they are showing sexual reproduction. That is great. They show great diversity, differences in the morphology, and it is showing one big similarity. That is, they are showing what we call it as the same type of reproduction. So let us see a common thing happening in the sexually reproducing organism. Whatever the organism, if it is undergoing the process of sexual reproduction, it will be having the different stages or phases. Different phases of sexual reproduction. Okay, different type of sexual reproduction, isn't it? So you can see all the individuals which are reproducing through sexually, all they are reproducing through sexually should have show all these phases. That is juvenile phase, which is also called as vegetative phase, which is also called as vegetative phase. I'll tell you what are those, okay? Then reproductive phase, which is next is senescent phase. Okay, in that is there are different types of phases we are able to see here. That is juvenile, then reproductive, then senescent. Okay, or it is also said to be senescent or aging. Okay, aging phase last. So here the whatever all living organisms, as soon as the living organism is taking birth, either a plant or animal or a fungi or an algae. As soon as it will take birth, immediately after the birth, they are not capable of reproducing. Why? Because they have to grow first. Because they have to grow, they have to achieve a stage of maturity. Then only their body is capable or able to produce the gametes. Okay, then only their body is capable or able to produce the gametes. When they start producing the gametes, then only they are able to reproduce, isn't it? So it will take a time. So that is the period from birth to the maturity. The period from the birth to the maturity is called as, in all the sexually reproducing organisms, the period from birth to the maturity is called as what term? It is called as juvenile phase in the animals, whereas vegetative phase in the plants. Juvenile phase in the animals and vegetative phase in the plants. That is birth of the maturity. That is the growth phase. That is, we can call it as growth phase. In the animals, it is said to be juvenile phase. In the plants, it is said to be vegetative phase. Okay. The phase variation, end of the juvenile will indicate the beginning of the reproduction. The end of the juvenile will indicate the beginning of the reproduction, and the end of the phase indicates the beginning of the season. So let us understand one by one how it is taking place. So the juvenile phase of the animals and vegetative phase in the plants will be varying. That is of different types. You can imagine, you can think easily, that is some of the plants showing variation in the, some of the plants they are showing variations in the flowering time. Can you just imagine when a rice plant is flowering and when a rose plant will flower? From the birth, from they have taken birth till the, what is the growth period? So different plants they are showing different types of variation in their growth period. Okay, growth period will be varying. Okay, so you can see that is maturity is seen, that is marigold plant, rice, wheat, coconut, mango, marigold, rice, wheat, coconut, mango. Have you come across, have you any time think about when or how many times a mango tree is taking to show the flowerings? Flowering is nothing but how can you come to know there is a maturity in the plant? When you see in the angiosperm, once it will start the flowering, we can say that they have achieved the reproductive stage. Okay, so in the animals, how can we recognize? We can recognize by the reproductive cycle. So that I will explain you here. So let me explain you. In the marigold, can you imagine? Just imagine and think of that marigold flower, coconut, then rose, then rice, then hibiscus, etc. Just to think that all are the plants, even though marigold will take different period of time for the growth and maturity, and coconut also, rose also, rice also, hibiscus also, and vinca rosea. You take any one of the plant, it is showing variation one among the other. कौन सा भी प्लांट ले लो आप, वहां पे आपको क्या देखने को मिलेगा? एक प्लांट के स्पीसीज को अगर आप दूसरे प्लांट के स्पीसीज से कंपेयर कर रहे हो, you can see there is a difference in the vegetative phase. So varying in the maturity period of time. Okay, there are some plants which will be flowering. They will take more time to show, that is a growth, more time to show flowering in them. So we can say that the growth period is more. That is vegetative phase is more. For example, bamboo tree, you know bamboo tree, it will be taking 50 to 100 years it is lifespan. So once in their lifespan they are flowering. Okay, only once in their lifespan. This will be asked in your NEET, CET, isn't it? And also in the theory one mark question fixed it is. And also there are some plants which are flowering once in 12 years. Once in 12 years. Can you name them? It is called as Strobilanthus kuntiana. Strobilanthus kuntiana. Commonly it is called as Neelapuranji. Okay, it is very important. Both NEET, theory and CET. You can see here, Neelapuranji is a plant where you find in the hilly areas of Kerala, hilly areas of Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Okay, Karnataka. In Karnataka, you can see in the Ooty. During the month of September 2006, they have shown flowering. So it will very beautiful flower to see. The blooming of the Neelapuranji, that is purplish color, completely a mat of flower is like it will attract most of the tourists in the year of 2006, September, October. Where it is located, we can see the hilly areas of Kerala, it is in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and also in the Karnataka. In the Karnataka, you can find in the Uti. Okay, Neelampuranchi. So, 1 mark question is very much important in the theory 1 mark question, and also in the tendency related questions will definitely shortly will appear in the exam. Okay, so you can see here that is flowering says that it has been matured. Okay, so the juvenile phase is followed by morphological and physiological changes, which is taking place before the reproduction. Before the reproduction, whatever the morphological, the gap, the body physically also should be capable, and also anatomically, that is internally also should be capable of giving birth to the new one or producing the young one or reproducing. Okay, that is taking place in the juvenile phase in the animals, vegetative phase in the plants. Then comes the reproductive phase. Then comes the reproductive phase. Okay, my dear students, among the animals, for example, birds, some of the birds, like cowbirds, hence they lay the eggs every time. Okay, throughout the year. But there are some birds, they lay eggs only once in their year. Okay, so some of the birds they will be laying in the summer season, some of them they lay in the winter season, some of them in the rainy season, whatever. So I can call it as seasonal breeders. It means that only in a particular period of time they are capable of reproducing their maturity. So reproductive phase in the plants we can able to see by flowering. Once there we can see the flowers are present. The flowering, blooming of the flowers on the plant, that is the angiosperm, easily we can recognize it is a sign of maturity. Okay, maturity. Now the plant or tree is able to fruit. That is reproduction. Okay. What about the reproductive phase in the animals? How can you recognize? There are some cycles. That is reproductive cycles are there. So reproductive cycles conformly indicates the animal has capable, what we call it as, is ready for reproduction. That is, maturity has taken place. Right? So reproductive phase in the animals, I'll tell you. I hope you people are understanding. Okay, so here can we see that reproduction in the mammals exhibits in the different type, ovaries, oviducts, the what we call it as some of the reproductive phases in non-primates like cow, sheep, non-primates, that is cow, sheep, deer. In the non-primates, you can see that is the cow, sheep, deer, dogs, tigers, etc. Dogs, tigers, okay, etc. belongs to what we call it as non-primates. Okay, so then primates. In animals, we are classifying, isn't it? And primates, we can say that monkeys, apes, and humans. Primates. That is monkeys, apes, humans. Comes under the what we call it as the category of the animals showing the different types of cycle, reproductive cycle. So you can see here in the non-primates and primates we can recognize especially we can recognize some of the reproductive cycles. Reproductive cycles. With that, we can understand if reproductive cycle occurs, then what happens? It shows that at beginning of the reproductive cycle in the non-primates and primates, different types of reproductive cycles are there. So that indicates that it is a beginning of the maturity. Now, the animal is capable of reproducing. Like in plants, the flowering shows indicates that it is beginning the process of reproduction. Like in the animals, either non-primates or primates. In the non-primates, we can see a type of reproduction that is, we call it as estrous cycle, and in the what we call it as primates, we can see that is menstrual cycle. Okay, menstrual cycle. Okay, so reproductive cycles are there: estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. So these type of cycles are present. If the beginning in the non-primates, if the estrous cycle begins, it indicates that the beginning of the reproductive phase. End of the juvenile phase will be the beginning of the reproductive phase. Now, the organism is capable to reproduce. There is two more question compulsory will appear. Write the difference between estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. Estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. There is a compulsory question in the theory you got 2 marks, that is estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. Related in theory and need, they will be asking like giving the organism's name, write the type of cycle in that. Many mammals, especially those living in the natural world, exhibit cycles during favorable conditions. You can see here in the favorable conditions they will be able to reproduce. Right? They are reproducing in the favorable conditions where the thing is going on. Here I can say the seasonal breeders. For example, in case of the human beings, how do you do it? In the human beings, once the human being, I will show here, and here again. What is the difference between estrous cycle and menstrual cycle? The non-primates, they are showing the release of the sexual heat. The cycle is seen in the form of release of the heat. That is a surge. It is not bleeding is not taking place in the estrous cycle. That is a type of what is estrous cycle? It is a type of cycle which is taking place in the non-primates. Examples: cow, sheep, deer, dog, tiger, etc. And estrous cycle, in the estrous cycle there is no bleeding. There is release of the heat. There is no bleeding taking place, and here only the release of the heat. Then what about the menstrual cycle? Menstrual cycle is taking place in the primates like monkey, apes and human beings. It is shown through a bleeding process. Okay, and here you can say that this thing, how exactly it is taking place. I will tell you. So, in the human beings, for example, once the menstrual cycle begins, the female is capable of reproducing till it will stop the menstrual cycle in her life, that is 40 to 45 age. It can reproduce anytime. In male also, like after once the maturity is taking place, continuously sperms are produced in the testes and continuously ovules are produced in the ovaries. But what about some other organisms like ships, bees, dogs, etc., cats, etc. What they are going to do? They are showing reproduction only in a particular season of a year. For example, in the rainy season, you can find so many puppies on the road. Okay, it means that the dogs are reproducing particular period of time. How is it possible? How they are maintaining in the sense their male reproductive or male gonads, that is testes, matures, remain active only during particular season. Only during particular season. How is it maintained? Some of the ovaries or male or female gonads. Female gonads are nothing but female gonads are ovaries. These are also become active only during particular season. This depends upon either the light. If some of the ovaries and testes will become active only when there is full of light, then summer is a breeding season for that organism. Some organisms, their gonads will mature. After maturity, they become active only when there is less amount of sunlight external. So we can say that winter is a breeding season. Similarly, so how they are maintaining some organisms, what they are going to do? Their testes are enclosed, not enclosed in the sputum, or they are not enclosed in this sputum, so there is no sperm production. When the season comes, breeding season, then the testes are enclosed in the sputum, so that the animal is producing the sperms, and as a result of which the animal reproduces, maintaining the seasonal breeding. Okay, so this is how we call it as reproductive phase in the animals and in the plants. Now, let us talk about the senescent. Before I begin with the senescent period, let me tell you people one thing that, so whatever the reproduction, that is birth to maturity I said na, that is the growth period, that is the juvenile phase in the animals, vegetative phase in the plants. What about the reproductive phase? Where the animal or where the organism is capable of reproducing. That is a reproductive phase. How when it will begin by the end of juvenile. There is a beginning of the reproductive phase. What about the senescent? Senescent begins with the end of the reproductive phase, where the organism is unable to reproduce. Okay, it is beginning, that is after the end of reproductive phase is the beginning of the senescent, where the animal or the plant is reaching to the senescent aging. Okay, slowly the rate of metabolism will be increasing, and the animal is finally going to be die. Okay, so this is how we call it as the different types of phases, the different types of phases taking place in the plants and the animals. Okay, I hope you people have understood that is the sexual reproduction. In the next class of this chapter, I will be telling you what are the events taking place in the sexual reproduction. Okay, so what are the events which are taking place in the sexual reproduction? Will be continuing in the next class of this one. Okay, thank you.